Booyah! What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday.
Happy
Thursday,
friggin' Thursday.
to you, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys.
Another long
Hope
week.
your drams are full tonight. We have a
And
whopper of a show tonight. I wish the other two were with us, but they are on break. So
Spring break, they're lost. Our game.
I'm sure they're drinking somewhere, but it's going to be a fun night tonight. Let us see
Who's
who
on?
is online with us tonight.
And then we'll go over what we're gonna do tonight because it's actually quite a little journey here.
We
So
have a lot to talk about, so let's make this quick. So,
Tom R first, but wasn't in the pre-show for patrons.
yeah, what's up with that? You think
Good
he's
Tom.
hunting some
Yeah,
some
he's
kind of
some
creature?
World of Warcraft killing.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom. Obviously, Mystery Girl. Thank you for being here. Harry Rajan, John Kranz, Chuck,
Skull.
Pierre, Chad. Now there's our pre-show folks.
There
right
they
here.
are.
Sean Peak, cheers.
Ah,
Steve's there. It will be interesting, Steve. It will be interesting. Trooper.
wow, Trooper. Hope you're having a nice dram tonight, not stuck in a rig somewhere, buddy. Steve A is on. Scotch on the Bayou.
Yes.
I think one of the dummies may be seeing her
I
tomorrow.
was just going to mention that. She pointed that out. So one of the dummies, Andrew, is down in her neck of the woods. And I think him and his wife are going to be stopping by Leanne's pad. And her and her husband, Mark, are taking them down to camp.
That's right. I'm a little
freaking
jealous.
I know.
Because I've been talking about going there for how many years now, and it's going to happen.
Oh, well.
We'll make it happen
They're going to have a
soon.
good time. Hey, Wesley. It's good to see you, sir.
Wesley, Bobby H.
Where are you, Bob H?
Mm.
I saw a text picture from you this morning. Are you in Boston?
I think he might be, actually.
I don't know.
The two amigos.
It's a nice
That's
picture,
correct. It was a good picture.
Love that city.
Whiskey Nose.
Francois Whiskey Nose.
Hoagie. Good day, good evening, good night. Good to see you, my friend. Hope
It
you're
is
doing
good
well
to
over
see
there.
you. What is going on over in Germany?
Oh, the man of the hour is here. Gregor.
Well, looky here. When are you coming here, Gregor? Well, I mean, look at all this whiskey we've got to drink, and you're not even here. Peter White?
This guy right here. Hi to you, Alejandro.
We'll call him Serendipity.
We'll call him out in here in a few minutes as we get going. But yes, I'm glad to see that you're on tonight's show.
Greetings from Glasgow. Wow, man.
Long time viewer, first time.
Well, thanks for
commentator.
saying
Well, thanks for
something,
coming
William.
in.
And cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers. Absolutely.
I actually am out of my warm-up jam. We warmed up with some Royal Salute 21. Tried to keep it simple. Didn't want something too over the top and rich because we didn't want it to sort of get in the way of what's going to happen here tonight.
Oh, I think we called Bob out. You're in trouble. That's right.
Uh-oh.
Better find it.
He's got a phone.
All right. So tonight's topic, can you taste the difference? This is a topic that it's a bit of a stretch, but it's interesting. We were talking about earlier today, and I think this actually has a lot of value. And I love what you have put together here. I'm going to let you talk about it in just a second. But I think what's cool of this is, number one, this idea came from our patrons. We love our patrons. We actually have a great pre-show and post-show with our patrons. If you're not a patron, check out our link in our description for that. I'm sure Mr. Girl will post it as well. But it's great because they give us ideas for the show. And tonight, this idea is from our good friend Alejandro.
This is his brainchild.
This was his brainchild, and say, hey, why don't you guys do a show about this? And tonight, we're going to do it.
And that's it. And it's very similar to another topic that we've done in the past where people will say, can you taste age? Does age make a difference, right? Tough. And in some instances, yes, there's actually some cheats that I can give you that might give away an age of a whiskey that help when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Really tough.
But Alejandro's twist was price. Does price matter? Can you taste price? Is there something in that bottle that's $200 that makes it different than that bottle that's $50?
Now, this could swing a lot of different ways. So you have to set it up. And I think, honestly, Mark, you did a great job with our selections we had here.
Yeah.
Walk us through what we got going on and why you put it together. So let's talk on this side first. So you've got...
First off, all of them, we tried to keep them similar. In other words, similar profiles. I didn't want to match peatids up against non-peatids or, we want them to be similar enough to where there's something close that gives them something to be compared against, right? So what we've done is in all three cases, we've got an expensive bottle in there and a non-expensive bottle. So the first one down on the left, these are all sort of run-of-the-mill scotches. They're not crazy maturation, not peated.
Exactly.
The two inexpensive bottles are the Glenlivet 12 and the Speyburn Aranta. Both those come in at, I want to say $45.
I think they're around $45 each.
So $45 bottle, right? The Glenlivet's got an age statement. It's 12-year. Aranta's non-age
non-age
statement.
statement.
But the expensive bottle in this one, I chose this one specifically for a reason, is a Glenfodry 29. Okay, so it's a 29-year-old whiskey, but it's only $200. In comparison, that's expensive compared to these two.
Sure it is.
But I chose Glenfodry for a reason, because Glenfodry is not Macallan. It is not it's not Johnny Walker. It's not a brand that's going to command a high price. Because let's talk about why some whiskeys what drives price when it comes to Scotch, right? What drives it? Ingredients, casks, whatever they're going to mature the casks in. Are they expensive casks? Are they cheaper, old, spent casks?
And bottles, some bottles.
Sure, the marketing stuff, the packaging, but how old it is. The older it is, the more expensive it's going to be, because they had to pay storage costs for that more years. It's just, cost adds up. So what other things get into price, right? Well, the brand is one of them. I hate to say it, but I think everybody agrees. Macallan charges more than everybody else. Why? Because their name is
Macallan. And there's a few others like that. But
Johnny Walker is
a great one. Yes.
Sure. So Glenfodry is not one of those. It's still an expensive bottle for the comparison, but it's not something that should jump out like a Macallan. It's different. It's lower key. And I'm really interested to see if it holds up in this. I don't know if it will.
What about independent bottlers? What do you think about that?
That's where it really gets tricky, to be quite honest with you.
Lots of grays.
Absolutely, especially when you're considering that was another thing.
None of that stuff you mentioned matters.
None of these are cask strength. These are all
True.
Right. So
True.
You get into independent bottling, you're really starting to throw a lot more variables in it, whether it's cask strength and where it was matured. Did they just buy this from a distillery, or did they buy it, barrel it, and store it themselves? I mean, there's a lot of different variables when it comes to IBs, but that's category one. We're going to see what happens with these ones. The $200 bottle against two $45 bottles.
Okay. I mean, we can get into some of those details you mentioned too as we go through these.
Right.
So where are we going to go next?
Well, we're probably going to start with the Irishes. Okay. So we threw some Irishes in there as a curveball. But they're made at the same distillery, I believe. Middleton.
Yes.
Yep. But different brands.
Yep.
This is a sample of Redbreast that we have. My wife's nephew gave us the sample a while back. So that one of these glasses is Redbreast, and the other glass is one of these glasses is Red Spot. The other is Redbreast Lestau.
I didn't catch it.
Price wise, according to Total Wine, we're just trying to use the same standard here. Red Spot, which is out of stock, it's $135. If
it's in stock on the shelf and no one's grabbing it.
The Redbreast Lestau, $63. So literally the difference between these two is twice the cost.
Now, let's be honest. The Red Spot is going for a lot more than that.
Oh, sure, if you can find it. Now,
but that's not the point.
No, it's not the point. And yes, this is a 15-year-old, whereas this is a non-age statement. But the question is does that price come through in the glass, in the palate, in the flavor?
Can we taste it? And by the way, we haven't mentioned it, but we're doing all of this blind. We poured all of these bottles into glasses. We have no idea what they are. We mixed them all up, so we have no idea where they're at. And that was like 2 hours ago.
Each bottle has a stamp, a color stamp on the bottom.
And they match the glasses, so we don't know what they are. Obviously, we might want to look at color, so we're going to try our best not to look at the bottles. Maybe I put the bottles away when we taste them. But I mean, the point here is well, before we get to the point in tasting, let's go through this last category.
Okay.
So you've got your typical Scotches,
run of the mill line.
Run of the mill. You've got some Irish, and now you went to blends.
Yep. And these ones speak for themselves. I mean, honestly, we've got high, middle, and low on this. Johnny Walker Blue is the high. Everybody agrees with that. What's Johnny Walker Blue? Right now, according to Total Wine, it's $200 a bottle. It's honestly anywhere from $159 to $250, depending on your market. But Total Wine had it listed at $200 today. Middle of the road, we've got Compass Box Menagerie, $110.
Yep.
And then Monkey Shoulder, $35. So does the price come through? Does the price matter? And I think when we get into how we're going to do this individually, I think we're going to talk through them, what we're getting profile knows, probably point out which ones we prefer over others, not knowing what they are. Say, I really like this glass more than this. But at the end of the day, I'm going to judge them against each other, not so much against my palate.
Sure.
We're trying to find quality. Does the price come through in quality? Does it come out? Do you care? Should you consider that when you're standing there looking at bottles on the shelf and you're like, I don't know, this one's $200, that one's $50.
Well,
this one's got to be better. It's $200.
If you don't know what you're buying, it's extremely difficult because sometimes you go into these liquor stores and maybe you're just not getting into scotch or you whatever. It doesn't matter the scenario. The point is, you may have $50 in your pocket, you may have $200, or you may have something in between. You're trying to figure out, okay, I've had that. I've never had any of those. These are a lot more expensive. Is it worth it or not? And so obviously what you're going to do is you're going to pick it up. You're going to read it. You're going to try to understand some of the flavoring, et cetera. What we're trying to do is say, okay, can we taste that experience? Are we getting some of that like ingredients and the quality difference in between the two?
Right.
So,
without knowing which one's which. I
exactly.
mean, we very well may come out and say, man, the quality in this glass is the best in the blends. And it's
right.
the $35 bottle. You don't know.
I'm actually a little kind of
I'm anxious to see how it pans
what's
out.
going to happen. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we've all fell prey to the fact of looking at something and seeing a higher price tag on it and equating that to better right off the bat.
It's nature of the beast for everything.
Yeah, not just whiskey, anything. If you're looking at two refrigerators, well, the one that's $250 more, it's got to be better. It's $250 more.
Bells and whistles.
Well, yeah. Is that true? Especially in this case, that's what we're really trying to get to. So let's go through and look and see what some of the comments are before we dive into this, because some folks might have questions or input.
I'll scroll up here, and I'm curious in the comments right now. Do you think price matters? And if you've got an opinion, we'd love to see it, and we'll comment on it if we can during the show. So let me scroll up real quick and see. I think a lot of this stuff has just been people talking to each other,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's great.
That's what the chat's for, right?
Yeah. Let's see. I don't see anything yet. I think this is all those conversations here.
And talking about what some of these are. I see somebody say like Coast is take the menagerie over anything on the table.
Sure.
Okay, sure. Everybody's got a point. What's Eric say? Hey, Eric, it's good to see you. I haven't talked to you in a long time. There is a ratio of quality to
Let's
price
pull this up and
to
talk
a
about
point.
this.
Good conversation point, Eric. There is a ratio of quality to price up to a point. At some point, there is a diminishing return on much of an improvement there is as you spend more money. And that's a
very good point. Interesting point.
I think that that probably stands true from your experience in the wine industry as well, right, Eric? I mean, honestly, that's in anything. At some point in time, there's this point where you're not getting any more value for the dollar you're spending, basically, is what you're saying. So we'll see if that shines through in the bottles. I mean, what's the most expensive bottle on the? So I would say the Johnnie Walker Blue is the most expensive on the.
I would think so. Yeah. So we've got Bob H saying what I've learned in my whiskey journey. Let me pull it up. Is no, price doesn't matter. Okay.
All right.
Interesting. We've got.
But you've never really bought an expensive bottle of scotch, Bob.
Yeah, that's funny. What do we say here? Wine Idea says blind is really difficult if the scotch is a delicious factor, but if it's low ABV, that's usually a telltale sign.
So interesting you would say that, because you know what's the lowest ABV on the table? The most expensive bottle.
It is. It is. So I don't know if that's always true. Mystery Girl says, does price matter? Personally, no. I think it comes down to the heart behind the master distiller. Each barrel has its own story. That actually is a beautiful, elegant point, because unfortunately, most people that are buying this stuff probably don't know that. But if you are into some of these, and I'll say coin the phrase fanboys of some of these distilleries, I wholeheartedly agree to some of that stuff, because when you get to know some of the master distillers that go into this and making this, understanding the process, then you become like us and you get really sucked in. You create a
Right.
stupid YouTube channel and you go crazy because it's amazing. But yes, there's definitely a story behind some of this, and you buy the story a little bit.
And we talked about this in the pre-show to a degree of it. There are times when you drink a whiskey, you get a hold of a whiskey that maybe isn't your sweet spot. You know, you're like, this isn't really my forte, but you respect the whiskey because you taste the quality. You know it's a good whiskey. You look and see what that master distiller was trying to do, and you have to take your hat off because he did just that. She
Exactly.
nailed it on the head. Whatever it is,
So
you
many have done
respect
that. Yes.
even though it's not your, number one, and that's okay.
Yeah. So Scotch in the Bayou says price, it doesn't matter, but the branding and marketing adds a lot. It doesn't always translate into being better. Very
That's
true.
very true.
Very
Hey,
true.
there's the couple we beat up on McKellen about it a lot. There's been a couple that I've been like, there's no way on God's green earth I pay that much money for that bottle.
Kevin, good question. We know that, and so his question was: do you think Monkey Shoulder or Johnny Blue, since we know what we're familiar with them, are they going to affect our perceptions? Well, we're going to try not. We're going to do this without going in and saying I like that one better. We're going to note that, but the goal here is to say we feel like this one is more expensive.
The goal isn't to guess the bottle.
Yes.
Right. So you're right. I might be able to get into these glasses and be like, okay, I know this is Johnny Walker Blue, but the point is it better than this other glass? Why is it better? Is it that much better? How much better? Or how, we get into those kinds of details to find out if the price really does come through. I honestly had said to Drew this evening when we were setting this all up, I said, it's going to be another one of those nights where we have a pretty high chance of being humbled.
And humbling is when you do blind drams. If you've not done it before, I can almost guarantee you will be humbled almost every single time.
That's
because
right.
it's amazing how much you think you don't know.
Especially when you do the reveal and you're like, oh, geez, how many people are watching?
Right.
Oh, man, I just got exposed.
All right, so let's start with the Irish. We got to get going here and quit talking and actually start drinking and trying some of the stuff. So
Okay.
we're going to go with the Irish stuff first because it's a lighter approach.
Sure.
And again, so we've got either one of these is going to be Red Spot and one's going to be the
Red breast.
Red Breast
The
Lestat.
style. But we don't know which one's which. I can't tell the color of the sticker. It
I'm gonna
doesn't
try
much
looking
matter.
for it, so. All right, I'm going to go in first and just nose and pass along.
Yep. These have been pre-poured for about an hour. We've had them capped, so they should be really ready.
Smells like an Irish. I've got fruity notes. I've got some creamy marshmallow, a little bit of nuttiness as well on the nose right out of the gate. It's a wonderful smell. I'm actually really getting into Irish whiskeys a lot these last few months just because I feel like it's a nice segue from Scotch.
I got a lot of floral. The very first nose, I did get a little bit of that nuttiness you were talking about, but then it really switched. It quickly transitioned into a really big bouquet.
Some roses. There's some
right.
roses right now as
Yep.
well.
That's what I got.
But there's some undertone fruits.
I mean, there was that undertone of a nut. I'm not a hazelnut, but there's a nice sweetness under there too. Gosh dang it, this smells really good.
Wow.
Okay.
It's fairly hot, actually. It feels like it's probably write some notes down higher. We'll call this 1, by the way.
Well, we can look at the color of the sticker on the bottom.
I guess it
We
doesn't matter, does it?
We don't know what color the sticker's on,
No,
on
I
the
have
bottle.
no idea.
So what color is this? This is blue.
Okay.
So the blue Irish, I'm going to write Irish.
High ABV, floral on the nose, some fruit, and it tastes. It's got a really nice finish. It's got some meatiness to it, kind of like
To be
something to
honest with
chew
you,
on a little bit.
going into this, knowing these are Irishes, I would say this doesn't come off as light of a triple distilled spirit that I expected. I think it's a little more rich.
It does have a lot
and
more
punch
bold.
in it than I expected. But I'll also say this, and I'm gonna go in for another taste. I actually had a slight off-putting note on the palate.
Actually, the finish had something weird too. It's almost like an interesting marzipan or some kind of, I don't know what that is, oatmeal, oatiness on the finish. But I kind of like it. So I think what we'll do too is after we're done with this, we're going to continue doing what we're doing here. And then maybe we'll say which one we think is the more expensive one, right? And then prefer which one is it, which. Right now, I'm saying this is very good. I really enjoy this one. I feel like it's got quite a bit going on. All right, I'm going to move to the next one.
Let me rinse that out.
This is much lighter in the nose.
That's not always true, Eric. I mean, in most cases, sure, that's the best tasting whiskey, but that's not always true.
All right, very light in the nose, some caramel, some toffee, and some honey is what I'm getting. What color is this one?
Red. This is it's a red sticker on the bottom. That doesn't mean it's the red
Right.
spot. I don't. Let me write that down before I get into this. Blue and red. Okay, so right off the bat, this one smells much more of a reminiscent of an Irish to me.
It does not have the
Much lighter.
strength
No.
that does. In the nose.
Much lighter.
What are you
There's
getting?
there's a little bit of a
Some
like
wood,
a
too.
pork skin. You know what I mean? So like maybe a pork roast that's been charred a little bit.
Yeah, I mix. I'm saying it's
something in
balsamic, like not balsamic, but balsa wood. It's almost kind of like a very like a sawdusty a little bit too.
Sure.
Very easy to drink, lower ABV. Actually, mid to late sweetness comes back in there. Very nice. It tastes like it smells. Caramel, toffee, lightness.
There's a cinnamon note on
I'm
the
not
end.
getting any like major fruits.
There's a spicy note at the bottom of it. So let's look at these. Let's take a look at both of these glasses and say now, one costs twice what the other cost.
One's 150 and one is
Yeah, $135 and $63.
Okay.
So which one's which? And is it blatant? Is it obvious?
I'm not even going to try and figure out which one's which, but I feel like the first one has, based on the it's hard to tell because this price doesn't mask some of the flavors. It kind of masks some of this stuff, right? You're gonna add some water to it.
Yeah, just a.
Okay, you can just drop her.
I know we had a dropper somewhere, but
They're down there. It's fine. This
I'll
works.
I'll go look at them in a second.
I guess speed dram is somewhat.
Got to get into the speed dram. Go, go, go. Yeah, with that.
So would you say that, and maybe the comments here too, would you say that if something has more to it, is that more of a masking or is that more for aging and flavor profile equal heavier price?
What's your question?
So is something that's lighter going to mean cheaper versus something that's more bold and more substance?
No, I think that's a bad way to go.
Okay.
Especially in Irish, because Irish is triple distilled, and to be quite honest with you, cheap whiskeys can mask quality by putting flavors in there, in their caskings.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting to. Is like, do you think some of this could be on purpose?
I got to be honest. I'm really liking the lighter one.
I am too. I feel like it's details on this one.
It's really subtle. Water obviously brought some sweetness out. I think it brought a little bit more of a rose petal out on the palate.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like I'm with you. I like Is this blue? No, this is red. I like the red better. I prefer it over this one, and I feel like it should be more expensive than this one because I feel like whatever this is, it's almost not fake, but it feels like it's overbearing flavor a little bit, and I feel like the price is more elegant than that one.
All right, I won't disagree with you on there. I'll say this: I don't think there's a $70 difference. I don't. To me, whichever one costs $70 more isn't valid. It doesn't bring $70 more enjoyment out of the glass.
No, that's an excellent point. Nope, neither one of them. They're. I would say they're both should be around the same price or close to it.
At least as far as value and what I'm getting at, value to my palate and nose, I don't see a price difference. There's nothing that jumps out and says, hell yeah, I'd pay $70 more for that glass, even if I was right or wrong on which one was which. That's not the point. Neither one of these, they're close enough to where I'd say I'd pay about the same for both.
But from a palate perspective, you and I both prefer.
I do prefer the lighter one, the red dotted one sticker. I'm not saying the blue spotted sticker is bad. It's
right.
It is heavier, it is richer, and that's not what I'm really wanting and looking for out of an Irish. That's just what I'm saying.
Okay.
Now, I honestly think as far as my palate and nose say, they should be priced around the same. I don't see a $70 difference swing is what I'm saying.
Eric has a good point. Sometimes the cheap whiskey tastes as good as expensive whiskey when it's the 10th dram of the night.
Yeah, we're not 10 in yet, so that's good.
We're only 2 in so far. So, but yeah, I think your point was actually the interesting point is there a major difference between these two that would say, oh my God, that tastes so much more elegant than this one? There's a huge difference. There's difference as far as subtlety. I would say that bolder, lighter, but I also would say that this has more delicate flavors than this one does. This has kind of a couple one-way hits. You know what I mean?
Sure, I agree with you. So, I agree with you. Let's reveal and see which one's which.
So we've got the blue. Is that blue? No, blue is this one, isn't it?
Yep. So the red spot was the lighter.
Interesting. So this one is actually a lot more expensive than
this is twice. So the red, the one that we liked better of the two is twice the cost of the other one. I mean, and I agree. So
that's hard to say.
My palate says yes, the pricier one was better. But I'm telling you, it wasn't $70 better.
It didn't blow your socks off better.
Right. I mean, I can get 2 of these for this.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Let's pause this, maybe come back to it and move on to see if this scenario repeats itself.
All right.
Because this is a hard discussion to kind of have some good discussions about pricing. All right. Which way you want to go next? You want to go blends? You want to go probably blends?
Yeah, let's go blends.
Okay.
Let's go blends. So I have no idea which one's which here. I'm just pulling them out. Now, out of these, we've got these 3 are the blends that are in these glasses. Don't know which one's which. Johnny Walker, Blue Label, Compass Bock, Menagerie, and Monkey Shoulder.
Okay. I'm going to start with blue. Blah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that's Johnny Walker Blue.
Cotton, honey, and there's some other perfume going on in that.
Blends. Okay, let's see what happens here. Woo!
I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one.
Yeah, that's fine. So I honestly get like laundry sheets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it. Actually, it's a perfect. I said cotton and perfume.
Right. I mean, it's what I'm getting out of this. Right. Maybe not the kind my wife uses for our light, though. I'll give you that. Honestly, I'm getting a little bit of like candy grape in there too.
Yeah, I can give you that. So I'm onto yellow. I got on the nose, it was very light, mostly honey and citrus, and just a bit of cream on the nose, kind of a little creamy marshmallow.
So yellow?
Mm-hmm. Whoa. This is interesting.
So I get more malt on this one, which I guess if I really wanted to try to dissect and guess which one was which, I could get into knowing what's in
We're
these
not doing
blends,
that.
but that's not the point. Still pretty subtle. So far, both these blends have been subtle on the nose. Nothing's come out and really just said, you know, I demand more money.
This is,
what is that, green?
I'm having a hard time like dissecting what I'm smelling out of this one. I'm thinking like it's got a sweet tone, sweet note to the nose with like a spree candy coating and
Yeah, there is a candy in there.
and something else too. I can't figure out what that is.
Well, we got to get into this, man. We got to start drinking.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the blue here. Is that what this is? Yes.
Damn it.
Okay. Low ABV, malty.
Low ABV.
I think they're all low ABVs, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even bother looking at the ABVs.
Definitely a fairly long finish of maltiness, semi-sweet caramels, and almost butter, like buttercream. Almost salted caramel, I would say. Okay.
I think you nailed it. I got to be honest with you. That is much more heavier on the palate than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the nose did not have.
I literally wrote thick and heavy on the palate because that nose did not say it was going to be that heavy.
Right. I agree.
Wow. That was a surprise.
Similarities there.
See, I'm getting more green out of this on the nose now after getting some whiskey on my palate. More of a green grass.
These are harder because there are more nuances going on in some of these that you got to really kind of pick out.
Ooh, flavorful. Wow. Definitely a fruitiness. Bold. So I got to be honest, both of those came through packing way more on the palate than I thought they were going to pack. And I'm not going to go out on a limb right now and tell you whether I think one's worth more than the other as far as a price point.
This is going to be a very interesting category here.
This is the one that humbles us, brother.
This is the one that's going to smack us in the face.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to unsubscribe because we don't know our ass from a hole in the ground. No.
That's 100%. 100%. We're going to suck at this one.
There's that grapiness.
This is good stuff. You guys, we're gonna be humbled for sure. Please tell me that's a different one. Mm. So these two are very like a lot more malty than this one. This one is more subtle, but it has, I feel like it has more delicateness. Like, but I don't know if that makes a difference in price.
So what I wrote down was on the palette, this last one, which I think is the green sticker, I wrote it's much more stable. And what I mean by that in my note is the first two, especially the second one, had a palette that was much more, peaks and valleys. There was some wild, crazy, fruity flavors that came through, and then it mellowed into nothing, and then some other flavor. Whereas this last one, it was a real smooth. I don't want to say smooth. It's not that what I meant. It was a stable flavor, right? It came through from the beginning, and it took one nice stable journey. Whereas it didn't just kind of go off the chart here, down the chart here, all over the place. This one's stable. This one, I'm not saying that's less complex because of that. I'm just saying it seemed to stay in the lines a little bit better.
100%. There is, okay. So I would say in the order of kind of flavor profile, bolder, less bold, delicate, maltier, more candy. There's something else going on in the palate of this that's going to last longer. This has a middle of the ground here. It's more just malty, not nearly. I don't think has as much going on. And I feel like this is like, it's hard to say, but it has more of that stability that you were talking about, more balanced than these two are. So to me, I feel like, going back to my first impression of these, I feel like this one, the green here, I feel like has a higher price. So we're talking 200, 110, and 30, 35.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a huge jump here.
Right. So do you taste that jump? That's what I'm trying to come down to.
That's a really hard one, because I'm trying to base that jump off of stability and balance out of the three here. And I feel like this one has that, this green label or green dot.
Wes is giving me, I got a 2-minute penalty timeout for using the S word.
You said smooth?
I did, damn it.
Terrible.
I'm freaking
All right,
terrible.
so I'm not sticking to my guns. I'm going to say this is the more expensive one. I like this one the best personally. I think my second one is going to be blue, and I'm going to go with yellow last.
Damn it! I was hoping you didn't do that, because that was mine, right? I'm like, at least I think he's going to go with the way they are, and we'll be off a little bit. But I honestly, that last sip that I just took, put them in these order. I think that as far as complexity and quality, what's going on in the glass, this one's got the most. Now, I say that also saying that I can see it being overshadowed by the other two from someone who doesn't have the ability to really break a whiskey down.
That's true.
And spend time with it and appreciate that. But I think, especially in this lineup, this one gets so overlooked because of that.
It does. And we know for a fact that blue is a very good bottle, but it's a very smooth bottle. And that's why I'm hoping I'm right. That's why there's a very delicateness there that has quite a bit of flavors, but it's a very light balance. And if you pour this against something else that might have more power, I think these two are very close in similarity. I think one has a little bit more richness, but there's the difference in the delicateness here, the smoothness factor, if you will, I think shows more price. But who's going to know that if you don't know what Johnnie Walker Blue is, right? How would you know that's more expensive because of that? So This is a hard debate.
So,
I don't know. I
the
can
thing
taste
is-
the price as far as just that.
Right. And I'm not to say I'm right or wrong on which one's which. I'm saying which one I like the most, right? So this one, I don't know if because I like this one the most, I'll say it's the most expensive. I don't know if it's
I don't know. You're tasting
70
expensive here.
I don't know if I'm tasting $170 more between first and last.
I feel like whatever the blue is, which we both think is this one, I feel like that is going back to your original point of name recognition, marketing,
Right.
on all the other things.
I
I feel that the bottle, the juice is good, but I don't know it's that good.
$170 more.
Especially the difference between, I mean, we're putting monkey shoulder against a blue in this category. That's not even fair.
I mean, if they see this video, they got to be tickled pink just to say that they're in the conversation. They
Right.
got in the
I
ring.
mean,
But at the end of the day,
we may be wrong here.
we very well could be wrong. But what I'm saying is, it's not that the value isn't there. Now, I'll say that with this preface to everybody out there. So that there's going to be whiskeys that are overpriced, obviously, right? There is also time and place for certain whiskeys, right? So if you've got the scratch for the more expensive bottle and you know what you're buying and you know why you're buying it, then by all means, I say spend more money on the higher priced bottle. But if you're just trying to get bang for your buck, value for your dollar, and again, in case point 2, I don't think the best glass on this 3 is $170 better than the worst glass.
Right.
I don't.
Right. There's other factors that go into it, obviously, but
Sure.
we're trying to broker the
there's-
difference here to try to make
there's,
sense of this.
Sentimental values and
Sure.
biases and all that good stuff too.
Sure.
And everybody says that this is the best bottle, so I have to like it. Aside from all that crap, I'm just saying if you ask me if this one is $170 better than that one, I gotta say no.
Let's find out.
Shit.
I'm a little scared. All right, so
Monkey shoulders what?
oh my god, it's not that one. Are you shitting me? No way.
Is it really?
Oh my god, we are so humbled.
We just picked monkey shoulder and said it wasn't $170 more than freaking blue.
Blue is in the middle.
Oh wow.
This is embarrassing.
That's
But
awesome.
is it embarrassing or isn't it? Actually, this is a great point we're trying to make. We couldn't figure out. We chose this one based off of what we thought price was, the subtleness factor. That and what it boils down to is it's just lower ABV. It doesn't have nearly as much. But I don't
tell
know.
you what, son of a gun, I want a damn freaking sponsorship, monkey shoulder, you rat bastards. So blue was blue. No.
Wow. Okay,
So there, that should answer the question, Alejandro.
that's interesting.
No, price does. I mean, price is can be differentiated. Just got it backwards.
So here's the interesting point about this, right? Is we're trying to be unbiased and everything else, talk about price. At the end of the day, it is kind of fun that this did win. And this is one of our number 4 bottles of all time. I mean, for price, everything you're getting out of it. If you're not buying Monkey Shoulder and you're complaining against it, you get something wrong because it's a great little bottle.
Yeah,
Kudos to the Monkey Shoulder.
Wowzer.
Okay.
So what the hell? I'll finish the JW Blue.
You sure? You gonna make that happen?
You know why? Because I can go buy another bottle of Monkey Shoulder.
I bet you can. So humbled. We knew it was coming.
Well, got that out of the way. Rear end's tanned.
It's okay. We're the whiskey experts, right? No,
Ooh,
we're not. We're
Scotch
dummies.
4 dummies. And we're double representing tonight.
That's right.
I'm double stupid.
It's all right. It's
Okay, so last one. This is more of your run-of-the-mill Scotch flavors, right? Glenlivet 12. Come on, man. If you haven't heard of Glenlivet 12, I don't know how
Everything.
you found the station, but thanks for joining.
Yeah, right.
Speyburn Aranta.
That's from Alejandro, by the way.
Yeah, this actually was a gift bottle from the serendipity that came up with this idea, Alejandro. So Speyburn Aranta is a non-age statement. Was it $45? Both these bottles are $45.
Yeah.
The Glenlivet and the Speyburn are $45 bottles. The last one, the expensive one in this lineup, is not as popular as a label as most would find. It's called Glenfodry. It's a 29-year-old, right? So you would expect a 29-year-old to be expensive, right? I mean, honestly, when you get up above 20 years old, to find a bottle that's $10 a year is pretty good value, I think. Once you start getting above 25, it's $15, $20 a year is what you should start expecting. But this was a $200 bottle, 29-year-old Glenfodry. So this is the expensive one in the lineup, but was picked because it's not a popular brand. So I think it kind of pulls it down and gives these two a little bit more of a chance. We'll see if the price comes out. What do you got, Drew?
I'm doing green. This guy right here. I got lots of butter, honey. There's a little bit of like oak, I think, as well. One of those. I'm gonna go to the next one where you're sniffing that one.
God, I hate to say it, man. Dare I say it's run-of-the-mill Scotch. There's nothing mind-blowing here. There's nothing that jumps out and says, "Oh, it has this nose." It's like, nah. It smells like.
Wait till you get to this one.
It smells like whiskey. It's probably bourbon barrel finished, matured. There's nothing in there that is remarkable. I'll say that.
Try that one. That's going to really get you going.
Ooh.
Not a whole lot. Very light. Super, super light on the nose. A little bit of lime and just basic honey. Nice.
Yeah, man, I what the hell's in there? Is there anything in there? I almost feel like I need to take a drink just to get something on the nose.
Exactly.
What was that color?
That was blue. And the yellow is not far off.
So far, this lineup's becoming difficult because none of them are giving us anything to work off of here, right?
On the nose, at least. That one has some cotton and linen, if you will.
Ah, shit, they all smell the same.
But they're very similar.
What was Eric's comment about the 10th one in?
You know.
Hoagie says he likes to see matured in oak casks. So Hoagie comment on that reply. My son, 17-year-old, knows obviously I'm into whiskey, asked me today out of the blue. He said, "Dad, why do they make a point to say that Scotch is matured in wine barrels, but they don't ever say wine is matured in Scotch barrels?" I'm like, because that'd mess up the wine, son. Women of whiskey, hey you.
They've been on here for a while.
I just saw them. I've been drinking whiskey. It's good to see them.
Lots of toffee on the nose. What did you just drink?
This yellow.
Interesting. This green has toffee, coffee, and a little bit of sherry.
Coffee, toffee, and what?
Sherry. Toffee, coffee, sherry.
Oh, the Snow White's drawers.
Mm-hmm.
So 100% pure mustard. Absolutely. That's the point of this right here. Costco has this 24-year-old for $67. Are you impressed? Well, so that's the other conversation is age, make a difference. Is it discernible? Now, I'm not going to beat up Costco because some of their freaking liquids, some of their spirits are actually really good brands. They just get it under the Kirkland label. I know their vodka's really good.
Well, that's an interesting flavor profile. I've got peppermint and spearmint going on or something. That was blue. Which one was the? It's the yellow.
Huh. Okay, so far there's
some lime in the nose.
So, oh man, I'll tell you what. What this is the blue spot, on whichever one this may be. I got to tell you. I'm going to write some notes down without saying them.
Okay.
Oh, Mark was a huge part of getting me to try Scotch when we were in Texas. That was so much fun, and I had fun. I'm so glad to see you guys on YouTube too. You're doing a good job. I pop in on you guys every now and again, and I appreciate the show. You guys are doing great.
So I just had some of that yellow. It's actually kind of meh. It's sugar. It's kind of a warm sugar cotton candy. Just light tones, nothing like super flavorful on that. The only one that has a lot of flavor to me right now really is the green or
Blue.
or what's this one? Yeah, blue.
Yeah, so let's talk about blue.
Well, no, I said it was green.
Put some water on these. And then give me the rest of that bottle because I need to keep rinsing this down so I can. So the difference in these guys, I'll tell you right now.
Yes.
I'll be honest. To me, picking these out, at least picking this one out, is easy. It does stand out. Okay, and that's the expensive bottle. But I'll tell you this: when you hear my notes on it, you're probably not gonna be as surprised.
I'll put some in there.
I know, but I'm putting some in my glass.
Oh.
I need to rinse my palate because this one, or I should say, this one, is overbearing.
It is over the top compared to these two.
Mm-hmm. So what I have here is this one right here, this blue. It brings the most to the nose and the palate, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, there's something going on there. Here's my problem with that. We're drinking Scotch. The nose, man, it smells like bourbon to me. I'm like, geez, man, what am I drinking here? Which one is this? I'm not crazy about it. It almost smells like intentionally sweetened. Artificial sweeteners, what I'm really getting at it, right? And I'm like, what are you doing to my Scotch here? And then when I taste it,
I would, if you blindfold all these to me like this, and I didn't know what they were, I would from a price perspective, I don't know what I would say. I wouldn't say that one's more. Maybe this one's a little bit more expensive because I actually don't even know what to say anymore. I really don't, because I'm completely off here as far as pricing. None of these taste like $200 to me. They taste like they're all around $50 or less.
You know what, though? Okay, fair. Great point. You just nailed it on the head. They all taste $50. These two are $50 bottles. So you just, boom. That's, to me, they won. You're winner bottles. Drew just said you taste like a $50 bottle and you're on the shelf for $45. Hot damn, Speyburn and Glenlivet. You guys did a great job. I mean,
I guess.
The point is does, and I'm assuming we know which one's which we really don't.
I don't know. I know this one is obviously, right, but I don't know which one these two are. Let's just find out. Which one do you think is the Speyburn? I think 3 is Speyburn.
Which one's 3? Yellow.
Yellow. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say green is Glenlivet. Okay. So we were right on guessing them. Here's my point, though. I am completely in agreement with you, and none of them taste like they're worth over $50.
No.
But when I say that, that means that Speyburn and Glenlivet got nothing to be ashamed of because they're coming in at $45. I think they're very similar. There's enough difference between the two. To be quite honest with you, it makes me appreciate Glenlivet 12. But Speyburn and Ron, these are okay glasses. I hate to say it, I don't even know if they're worth $45, right? They're, to me, am I nitpicking or trying to be pretentious by saying they're $40 bottles? You know, it's a $5 difference. I can tell you this much. This guy,
the Glenfordry
is not a $200 bottle. And what's even more disappointing than that is a 29-year-old. and it's not a $200 bottle.
So it's hard. Our conversation tonight's all over the place. We get it, and it's hard because we're trying to figure it out ourselves and take prices and what we know from everything else we do. But what do you say?
I don't know. I'm gonna go up and read these comments. I don't trust that guy.
I don't know either.
I love
but
him.
the point here is that this is a good example of, and it still comes down to palate preference and what you may or may not like. But to me, you nail it. Like this bottle here, a 29-year-old bottle of scotch does not taste like a $200 bottle of scotch to me.
And in most cases, a 29-year-old bottle of scotch is going to fetch a $350 to $400 price range. And this is a $200 bottle, which is expensive in this lineup. And I don't necessarily think it's worth it. I really don't. I just, there's something, the nose and the palate just are artificial to me.
So at the end of the day, the experiment is kind of, I don't know if it's a hit or if it's a bust. The point is there is price differences and all this stuff. It's still based on, I would say, your individual palate. And honestly, you got to explore to know, because, our motto is on a journey, right? And we are on a journey, and everyone's on a journey to do some of this stuff. Sometimes you get bit. I feel like this might be one of those ones you get bit. It's not horrible, but somebody might get this and love it. I don't know.
Who I don't want to say gets bit. Who somebody that has not been on the journey and you just started getting into scotch, and then all of a sudden you stumble into a Total Wine or something, you find this 29-year-old and it's $200 and you're like, shit, I can afford that. And it's $29. It's 29 years old. So you buy it and you haven't had enough exposure and experience.
That's exactly right.
So when you get it, you're like, well, yeah, that shit was great. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 years later, you've really got to get know your palate and know what whiskey's about. And you're like, all right, man, a good 29 will blow this out of the water, but a good 29 is going to be 2 to 3 times that cost.
Like Bob said, put the 21 Cannon Barrage on the table and we'll see what happens. Well, yeah, that's so. But to your point, and I think, isn't this a bottle?
Bye, Lana.
A bottle Wesley really likes?
It is. And this is a bottle that Wesley sent to us because before Wesley's on the journey, literally. Wes, we get to know him. He's just into scotch, and I think this is probably like the only label he knew.
That's what my point was going to be. Is to what you just said. Is I'm curious to see, and we'll talk to you here in a minute in the after show, to feel like, do you still think this is worth $200? Because I know now that your journey has gone further than you ever were with this. And I remember when you first had this, you really enjoyed it. I'm curious to see if this still compares to that or not.
Hoagie's got the solution. Bingo. And there's your winner. And there's the closer.
That's awesome. Fill your blue with Bunky Shoulder. He actually made a good point earlier, which I think is a little bit of difference. These are blended, but that's a blended malt.
Sure.
So there's a difference
there. Is.
And that's probably palate preference for us.
Yeah, there's definitely
to give us a little bit of a asterisk, if you will.
If you want to split hairs on this, you can really get down to the nitty gritty on putting these lineups together, and there's a little bit of value in that for the whiskey geeks in this conversation. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of the people that we're trying to get out there to don't know the difference between a blended scotch and a blended malt, and so they're standing in that aisle at the liquor store, the grocery store, and they're like, man, $200 for a 29-year-old. I got to get that, man. This is a good deal. Maybe not. Maybe not.
So what's our closing statement here? So I guess it's really up to you and your journey. You've got to explore. Are you going to get shot in the foot sometimes? Mm-hmm. You're going to. Hopefully you're doing things like checking our channel for some of this advice, because I think we're helpful in some degree. But sometimes you got to take, bite the bullet and take that risk and see what you're getting. But at the end of the day, it's hard to say for sure, does price really come into play? Can you taste the difference in some of these? In our small sample here, would you say yes or no?
No, I don't think. I honestly never. In any case, none of these cases did price show out to be worth it to me. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
But I will say that once you're experienced and you've got a defined palate, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what things should and shouldn't be. I don't think there's anything wrong with buying that expensive bottle for that expensive occasion or that special occasion, or that I'm going to have a nice glass of this tonight. Hey, you know what? Johnnie Walker Blue Label is delicious. It's great. It's not something I drink all the time, for multiple reasons. Not just the price, but also because a lot of times when I sit down and have a glass of scotch, I don't want to have to really I'm not sitting down to get to know it and have this 45-minute relationship with it, which is what this deserves. If you want to enjoy it, if you want to get what that $250 is worth, that's what you got to do.
Sure.
Sometimes I just want to sit down and have a glass of scotch.
$35 cash.
$35 cash.
On that note, I'm going to grab this one over here. Which one was the red spot?
I don't know. We're horrible. It was the red one, I think. It was the red spot. It was the red dot.
I'll take this one. You're going to take the blue.
Yeah.
We're going to say cheers. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. It's good to see
Hey,
you.
it was good to see everybody. There were a few people we haven't seen in a long time. Gigi, it was wonderful to see you on the pre-show tonight. Everybody that made the show tonight. Women of Whiskey, it's great to see you. I love to see you guys out there, and you guys are doing good stuff. If you're not subscribing to them, go check them out. Check out their nights when they do the murder discussions. I can't think of the name of it. I want to say it's Wednesday nights, but it's like not every Wednesday that they do that special topic. It's pretty cool. It's definitely for women, because there's not a woman I know that doesn't watch First 48 or How to Kill Your Husband.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting started. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully all four of us will be here. Cheers.
Cheers. Love y'all.
3, 2, 1.